Understanding the emotional barriers to effective workplace communication. Communication at work often feels like it should be straightforward. We share ideas, give feedback, and collaborate to reach common goals. Yet, despite the best intentions, conversations frequently break down. Misunderstandings, frustration, and tension can creep in, leaving everyone feeling unheard or disconnected. The root of these issues often lies not in the words themselves, but in the emotional undercurrents that shape how we listen, respond, and engage. This post explores why communication breaks down at work from an emotional intelligence perspective. We will look at the emotional reasons behind these breakdowns, how stress and misalignment affect conversations, and the role of self-awareness, calmness, and boundaries in creating clearer, more compassionate communication. Emotional reasons communication breaks down. At its core, communication is an emotional process. We don't just exchange information. We share feelings, values, and needs. When emotions run high or go unrecognized, communication can falter. Fear and vulnerability. Many workplace conversations touch on sensitive topics: performance, feedback, deadlines, or conflicts. These moments can trigger fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. When people feel vulnerable, they may withdraw, shut down, become defensive, aggressive, or avoid honest sharing. For example, an employee receiving critical feedback might hear it as a personal attack rather than constructive guidance. The emotional reaction can block understanding and create distance. Assumptions and misinterpretations. Emotions also influence how we interpret messages. If someone feels anxious or stressed, they may assume negative intent where none exists. This leads to misunderstandings that escalate quickly. Imagine a manager's brief email asking for a report by the end of the day. A stressed team member might read it as pressure or criticism, even if the tone was neutral. These emotional filters shape how messages land and how people respond. Unmet emotional needs. Communication breaks down when emotional needs go unmet. People want to feel respected, heard, and valued. If these needs are ignored or dismissed, frustration builds. For example, a team member who feels consistently overlooked in meetings may stop contributing ideas. Their silence is a sign of emotional withdrawal, which harms collaboration and trust. How stress and misalignment affect conversations. Stress is a powerful disruptor of communication. It narrows focus, heightens emotional reactivity, and reduces patience. When stress levels rise, people struggle to listen deeply or express themselves clearly. The impact of stress on listening. Under stress, the brain's fight-or-flight response activates. This response prioritizes survival over connection, making it harder to pay attention to others' words and feelings, process complex information, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, during a high-pressure project, team members may interrupt each other or jump to conclusions, missing important details. Misalignment of expectations and goals. Communication also breaks down when people are not aligned on purpose or expectations. If team members have different understandings of priorities, roles, or outcomes, conversations become confusing or frustrating. Consider a situation where one person expects detailed updates, while another prefers brief summaries. Without clarifying these preferences, communication feels off, and both parties may feel unheard. Emotional contagion and group dynamics. Stress and misalignment can spread through a team like a ripple. When one person is anxious or frustrated, others pick up on these emotions, often unconsciously. This emotional contagion can create a tense atmosphere where open communication feels risky. Connecting communication to self-awareness, calmness, and boundaries. Improving workplace communication requires more than techniques. It calls for emotional intelligence. This means understanding and managing our own emotions and recognizing those of others. Self-awareness as the foundation. Self-awareness helps us notice our emotional triggers and reactions during conversations. When we recognize feelings like frustration or defensiveness early, we can pause and choose how to respond rather than react automatically. For example, if you feel irritation rising during a meeting, acknowledging it silently can prevent snapping at a colleague. This awareness opens space for clearer, calmer dialogue. Cultivating calmness. Calmness is not about suppressing emotions, but creating a steady inner state that supports thoughtful communication. Practices like mindful breathing, brief pauses, or grounding techniques can help reduce stress in the moment. A calm leader or team member models emotional regulation, which encourages others to relax and engage more openly. Setting and respecting boundaries. Boundaries protect emotional well-being and create clarity in communication. This includes knowing when to say no or ask for time to process, respecting others' limits and signals, and being clear about availability and preferred communication styles. For instance, setting a boundary around after-hours emails helps reduce stress and prevents burnout, which in turn supports better communication during work hours. Practical steps to overcome emotional barriers. Understanding these emotional dynamics is useful only if we apply it. Here are practical ways to improve communication by addressing emotional barriers. 1. Practice active listening. Focus fully on the speaker without planning your response. Reflect back what you hear to confirm understanding. 2. Name emotions. Use phrases like, "I notice I'm feeling," or "it sounds like you're frustrated." This validates feelings and reduces tension. 3. Create safe spaces. Encourage openness by showing empathy and withholding judgment. This builds trust and invites honest sharing. 4. Clarify expectations. Regularly check in on goals, roles, and communication preferences to reduce misalignment. 5. Take breaks when needed. If emotions run high, pause the conversation and return when everyone feels calmer. 6. Develop emotional vocabulary. Expanding the words you use to describe feelings helps express yourself clearly and understand others better. Why emotional intelligence matters for workplace communication. Workplaces are emotional ecosystems. When we ignore the feelings beneath the surface, communication falters. Emotional intelligence bridges this gap by helping us navigate emotions with awareness and care. By building self-awareness, staying calm, and respecting boundaries, we create conversations that are not only clearer, but also more connected and supportive. This leads to stronger relationships, better teamwork, and a healthier work environment. Communication breakdowns are not inevitable. They are signals pointing to emotional needs and dynamics that deserve attention. When we listen to these signals, we open the door to more meaningful, effective communication at work. Take a moment today to notice your own emotional state during conversations. Practice pausing before reacting. Set a small boundary that protects your energy. These steps build a foundation for communication that truly works.